Asher looked at Kevin, who was walking towards him, and from a different direction, a face he remembered, Matthew, was also coming towards him. Asher got up and held his sword as he stared at the two people coming towards him. It seems we will see a clash between the top three of the boys' leaderboard, Giesel spoke, and the audience cheered loudly. All three of them had their supporters in the crowd, but Matthew had the most, being from a common background, and second was Kevin. The screen showed Kevin and Matthew walking towards Asher from his left and right respectively. After they were in the range where they could attack and defend from each other, they stopped. I don't know who you are, but stay away from him. He is my target. Kevin looked at Matthew and spoke. The name is Matthew, and why should I listen to you anyway? Matthew looked at Kevin. Asher was calm, and his face was indifferent. He was not in the same state as before when he faced Alan. Despite seeing the man who succeeded in almost killing him standing in front of him, he was calm. It was almost like his mind was somewhere else. Ha ha ha, you seem like a tough guy as you managed to arrive here so fast like me, but I will say it again, don't interfere. Kevin glared at Matthew. You talk too much, Asher spoke as he sighed, and a wave of killing intent hit Kevin and Matthew. They got alerted as they raised their weapons at Asher. His crimson-red eyes made Matthew gulp as he felt fear from Asher. On the other hand, Kevin was cautious, but this much bloodlust was not enough to stagger him. Even Asher knew that Kevin had trained in hunting dungeon beasts like him, so he was also used to experiencing this much killing intent. Asher dashed towards Kevin immediately and raised his sword as he swung it. Kevin was surprised at first, but he managed to block his strike. However, after he felt the force behind his attack, his eyes widened. Why does his strength seem higher than mine? Is he already an A+ rank? Kevin thought to himself. Kevin pushed his spear and backstepped, getting into a proper stance. He pointed the tip of his spear at Asher, making it clear that he was now ready for his attack. Asher turned towards Matthew and dashed towards him, ignoring Kevin. What the? Kevin was shocked by Asher's move. Challenging another person while being in a duel was dumb. This bastard is mocking me. Kevin clenched his jaw as he saw Asher swing his sword in a similar manner, but unlike Kevin, Matthew sidestepped to dodge it. Ads by Pub Future. Matthew immediately swung at Asher, but as his sword was nearing Asher's hand, his sword got counted. What? Matthew immediately backstepped away from Asher, but he did not let his guard down. Kevin frowned, seeing Asher's skill while countering Matthew's sword. But he went ahead and dashed towards Asher to initiate his attack, spinning his spear in his right hand. He swung his spear, but Asher backstepped and dashed towards Kevin immediately, performing a slash that made a light cut on Kevin's shoulder. The suit would have stopped any major injury, but a small one would go through it. It worked more as a protective device than armor, and it was meant to work that way. Kevin stepped away from Asher's range, touched his shoulder, and looked at his hand to see a bit of blood on it. Kevin glared at Asher, unable to believe that he was being cornered by him even though they were 2 against 1. It hurt his pride more than anything to see Asher's indifferent and calm face. Don't you underestimate me, Kevin said, channeling his mana as his speed doubled. Clang! Small sparks were produced as Asher diverted Kevin's spear with his sword, but Kevin did not stop. He continued to attack Asher. But he was unable to break his defense. Meanwhile, Matthew was looking for an opening to eliminate Asher. He recognized Asher as a greater threat than Kevin and was not going to waste this opportunity, no matter how unfair or unethical it might seem. He tried to get into Asher's blind spot while he was busy dealing with Kevin, but Asher was not even focused on Kevin at the moment. He was just toying with him. He is strong, but he's going to lose now that it's 1v2, Licia spoke. I don't think so, Revel said, focused on the screen watching Asher. What amazing footwork, he thought as he watched Asher counter Kevin with perfect footwork. In the Gravel VIP room, Lucas was watching Asher's duel with all his focus. Even Arthur was looking forward to seeing what Asher would do now that he was in a 1v2 situation. Where is my dumb brother? Nate thought to himself as Damien was shown on the screen for a long time. As Asher toyed with Kevin, who was getting more and more agitated by his unsuccessful attempts to breach Asher's defenses, Asher made Kevin take a step back and felt a sword approaching his back. Asher turned and tilted his head to his left, and Matthew's sword missed Asher's neck. Matthew looked into a pair of red eyes staring at him, but before he could move his sword, Asher ducked and punched Matthew right in the gut, making him cough. Asher channeled his mana, coating his hands and legs, increasing his speed and strength even further. He did not give Matthew any escape as he kept attacking him, making him cough up blood. As he was performing a kick to Matthew's face, he noticed Kevin attacking his back with his spear, contemporary romance. Attacking someone from behind was not Kevin's usual style at all, but he was too agitated to even think about his morals. Asher bent backwards, but Kevin was prepared for it and pushed his spear downwards. Asher pushed the ground with his legs, shifting himself to his right and dodging Kevin's attack. Matthew wiped the blood from his mouth, channeling his mana to coat his arms and increase his strength. He tightened his grip on his sword and swung it at Asher. Both Matthew and Kevin were now attacking Asher together, which seemed a bit cowardly and made the crowd angry at both of them. More people cheered for Asher, but both of them were swept by Asher's flow as he kept toying with them. Only those who had experience with battles could tell that Kevin and Matthew were on the losing end. Why is Kevin losing to that bastard? James said loudly, breaking the armrest of his chair. It seems the rumors about the heir of the Greville family were true after all, a person sitting in one of the VIP rooms spoke. Tell the chairman about this, he ordered his assistant, who immediately left the room. Asher countered both Kevin's and Matthew's attacks as they grew more and more tired. He kicked Matthew in the stomach, making him fall to the ground, and immediately blocked Kevin's spear thrust with the edge of his sword. Both of them were now pushing each other's weapons, but Asher had the advantage, as he was a minor rank higher than Kevin. You are also weak, like that dumb bitch, Asher smirked, quietly muttering so that only Kevin could hear him. You fuck, Kevin cursed, but midway through, Asher pushed his spear, making him lose his balance. Kevin saw Asher turn and land a round kick on his face, making him fall to the ground. Asher looked at both Matthew and Kevin, who were on the ground. But as he stepped forward, he noticed some mud shackles in between the thick grass. He dodged as he saw the shackles gripping the space where his legs were currently. He knew who used this kind of trick and turned to see a black-haired boy with pale green eyes, Sam. Alistair. Impressive, you even dodged that. Sam spoke as he smiled towards Asher. Hee, looks like you got your ass beaten. Sam looked to the right and saw Kevin, who was getting up with his eyes full of anger. Sam pointed her spear at Asher and spoke, both of you, let's beat this guy first, then we can decide the winner amongst us later, he said. I don't need your help. Kevin shouted as he stood with a cut on his mouth from Asher's kick. Neither do I, Matthew spoke with one of his hands still on his stomach where Asher had punched him many times. Well, I know I can't defeat him, and neither can you guys, so let's fight together, Sam spoke but he saw Asher raise his eyebrows slightly. Took you so long? Asher questioned with a smirk on his face, confusing Sam, who looked behind to see Damien, who had many cuts on his body, coming towards them with a blood-covered sledgehammer on his shoulder. Cut me some slack, I am not good with directions, Damien shouted as he smiled. Meanwhile, in another final location, Amelia, Elena, and Eva were looking at each other, neither of them moving, waiting for someone to make the first move. We have the top 5 of the boys' leaderboard in one place. Gazel explained. Asher Greville almost beat 2 of the top 5 alone, but what will happen now? He asked, hyping the audience. some minutes before Damien arrived at the final location. Elena was the first to arrive at the final location of the girls' tournament. She looked around and saw a small stone platform in the distance. That must be the special zone they told us about, Elena spoke to herself. As she stepped towards the stone platform, a voice came from her right. It seems I was a bit late, Amelia said as she walked with a relaxed look on her face. Elena looked back and saw Amelia, but seeing her red eyes made her instinctively take a step back. She regained her composure and glared back at Amelia. Although she looked confident and was a strong contestant, she still carried the trauma of being beaten ruthlessly by Asher. Her whole life, she was treated with respect and care by others. Elena clenched her fist as she got ready for a fight, but Amelia was not the one to back down either. As both of them channeled their mana, one more person appeared. Oh, you arrived quite fast, Elena, Eva spoke. Seeing Eva, Amelia had her guard up because, after the incident with Asher, she had not talked to any of the three, and they were now pretty much strangers to each other. It seems we have company, though, Eva turned towards Amelia, and all three of them stopped. Nobody made a move. This might be a bit difficult, Amelia thought to herself as she was not confident enough to take on both Elena and Eva and battle others who would come later. She pulled out her daggers and got ready for anything that might come her way. As the three of them were getting ready to fight, they felt a gust of wind pass by them, and all three of them looked at the platform to see a pink-haired girl standing on the stone platform. Who is she? Amelia thought, as she did not recognize this girl. Huff, huff, Alyssa breathed loudly as she looked at the three of them, and her eyes shone seeing Elena. I am not late, Alyssa spoke to herself as she saw the timer on her bracelet, which showed less than 0 hours 14 minutes and 9 seconds greater than. Meanwhile, in the other tournament location, Sam cursed to himself, damn it. He didn't know Damien well, but he didn't expect him to arrive at the final location so quickly. Well, it seems you were having your fun. Damien looked behind and saw Kevin and Matthew, who had been beaten down. Asher looked at Sam, who was standing between him and Damien. He raised his sword and dashed towards Sam. Sam reacted a bit late to Asher's advance, but he immediately dodged Asher's forward slash and countered it with a thrust of his spear. However, Asher easily blocked Sam's thrust by striking down his spear. Sam almost lost his grip on his spear due to the difference in their strength. Ads by Pub Future. Damien did not intervene. He knew that Asher didn't want his help right now, and he would step in if he felt that Asher was losing. Sam sidestepped, and now Asher was facing Damien, and Sam was in front of Kevin and Matthew. Let's team up for now, Sam shouted. Kevin wanted to deny, but his anger made him want to defeat Asher at all costs. Even Matthew was convinced that he was nothing in front of Asher. He thought that the difference between him and the other kids from elite families would not be that big. And it would have been true if he had not encountered Asher. Listen, you don't want to lose like this as well, right? Sam said, and Asher let him talk without interrupting him. Okay, Matthew agreed, as he saw no other option. And you? Matthew questioned Kevin, who had been silent the whole time. I will use it, Kevin thought in his mind. I don't need your help. Kevin shouted. Are you dumb? Sam stopped and frowned as he saw Kevin channeling his mana. Decided to bring it out, huh? Asher said to himself, as he smirked looking at Kevin. A spark appeared around Kevin, and after the first spark, another two appeared. His white hair started floating as small sparks covered his whole body. Kevin muttered something, and his spear was coated with lightning at the tip. Kevin Whiteheart is a lightning attribute user. Gazel spoke, as many people were surprised. It was known that Kevin was a genius due to his record in the Awakening, but his element affinity was unknown. This boy is quite good, but he's too emotional, an old man who was watching the tournament spoke. But his potential seems great, even his element. A document floated around him as he looked at it and then got back to observing the tournament. This guy has an advanced attribute. Damien spoke with a surprised look on his face. Get out of my way, Kevin spoke, and Sam stepped back with a smile on his face. Kevin dashed toward Asher with incredible speed as his element boosted his agility a lot. Kevin's spear traveled toward Asher's face, but Asher did not stay still. He sidestepped, but Kevin followed the thrust by spinning his spear toward Asher. Asher kept dodging Kevin's attack, but Kevin's eyes followed every movement that Asher was making. His element not only boosted his speed but also his reaction time and all his senses. His body was reacting to every movement Asher was making. Clang clang. Asher countered most of Kevin's spin attacks with an indifferent look that only made Kevin more furious. He attacked with even more intensity, causing his hands to bleed as he forced his body to match Asher's strength. To the audience, it looked like Kevin suddenly had the upper hand. This boy, Reveal closely watched Asher's movements. It seems Kevin Whiteheart might win, Licia spoke as she watched the fight. No, that Gravel boy is toying with him, Reveal said with a serious expression. What? But Kevin is clearly winning right now, Licia questioned, but Reveal shook his head and gestured for her to keep watching. Contemporary romance. In another room, Nathan spoke, oh, that spear boy is good. But when did this brat get this good at his basic footwork? Nathan smiled as he watched Asher dodge every attack from Kevin, even countering some of them. Although it appeared that Asher was moving a lot, if they looked closely, he had not moved more than 2 steps from his initial position. Let's end this, Asher said. Kevin was confused about what Asher meant, but he soon found out as Asher's sword slipped through his spear and made a small cut on his side. Ah! Kevin backed away, touching his side and noticing blood. He coated his whole body with lightning so that he could attack Asher again. However, as Kevin put his spear up to block Asher's strike, it turned out to be a feint, and Asher instead delivered a roundhouse kick to his ribs. The force behind the kick was enough to make Kevin crash to the ground. Cough cough. Kevin coughed and crouched up, but Asher did not give him any more time. Kevin saw Asher's kick coming toward his stomach. Bam! Kevin tried to put his spear close to his chest to reduce the impact, but the force was enough to lift his body off the ground. Asher gripped Kevin's neck, and Kevin saw a punch land on his face. Bam! Asher's fist, coated with mana, landed on Kevin's face, causing his nose to bleed. Bam! He punched him again. Bam! A third punch landed as Kevin's eyes rolled back with his face bleeding and a broken nose. That will hurt, but... Damien spoke as he threw his hammer toward Sam to interrupt him. I would avoid doing that, Damien said as Sam glared back at him. This bastard, Sam cursed Damien because he was about to trap Asher. But Sam and Damien did not know that these cheap tricks would not work on Asher, whose mana sensitivity was high enough to know about Sam's attack in advance. Asher looked at Kevin, whose body had gone limp as he had lost consciousness already. So weak, Asher threw Kevin aside and looked back at Sam and Matthew. Ding! Asher's count of tokens went up as the barrier around Kevin activated, signaling his defeat. He has done it. Asher Von Gravel has defeated Kevin Whiteheart. Gazel spoke loudly, and the audience cheered, but Kevin's fans were saddened by his loss. Yay! Lucas put his fist up, seeing Asher's win. Arthur was calm, confident that his son would win, and Sylvie and Seymour were smiling, seeing the leaderboard change. Asher looked at the timer on his bracelet. Less than 0 hours 15 minutes and 34 seconds greater than. Let's wrap this up, Asher said, looking at Sam and Matthew, who were nervous after seeing his effortless win against Kevin. Lena looked at Alyssa's face and frowned when she saw the scar on her face. Who is she? Amelia asked, and the 3 of them were confused by her sudden arrival. It seems that even the girls have gathered, but someone is already on the leaderboard. Gazel said, contemporary romance. It's Alyssa standing on the special zone. Gazel stuttered when he read Alyssa's name for some reason. Look at that scar. She's not even on the leaderboard. What's going on? People started chattering as they were confused by Alyssa's arrival. I was hoping this wouldn't happen, the old man at the office spoke as he saw Alyssa on the screen. Why did the Astaria family's head allow her participation? A sigh left his mouth. Meanwhile, in the boys' final location before Alyssa arrived at the special zone, Asher dashed towards Sam, who thrust his spear towards him in an attempt to waste time and make sure he was not eliminated. He knew that his chances of winning were zero, so he wanted to at least maintain his pride as a member of an elite family. I can't lose this pathetically, Sam thought in his mind. But Asher was done playing around. He countered with his sword, breaking Sam's stance and kicked him in the guts. Sam fell to the ground, holding his stomach and coughing blood. But Asher did not stop there. He kicked him in the head, knocking him out as his face was buried in the mud. Asher looked at Matthew, almost wanting to surrender rather than be beaten like that. And Sam Alistair was defeated by Asher Greville. Gazel spoke as the audience cheered. At the final location, Alyssa met the gazes of all three of them. Forget about winning this if you don't want to get hurt, she spoke. I don't even know who you are, but it seems you are quite arrogant, Eva spoke. She waved her hand as multiple translucent barriers went towards Alyssa. Should have stayed out of here. Now you can go back, Eva spoke. Alyssa raised her finger and brought it down, breaking all the barriers that Eva had summoned. What? Eva was shocked to see all her barriers break one by one. Even Amelia and Elena, who knew about Eva's abilities, were shocked. Another advanced element user. Gazel spoke with a surprised voice. Who is this girl? Sylvie said as she tried to remember. Pink hair. She is the daughter of the Astaria family. Verena replied after remembering. She is that girl. Why is she participating in a public tournament? Sylvie said with a frown on her face. Who is she? Livia asked. Ads by Pub Future. Oh, we'll tell you about that another day. Sylvie dodged the topic, making Lucas curious about her identity. Some kind of space element. Elena muttered. Doesn't matter, I will win this, Elena said as she summoned multiple fireballs. Let's see how you dodge these, she spoke as many balls of fire went towards Alyssa. I will win, Alyssa muttered and raised her trembling finger, distorting the direction of the spells. Amelia was still watching Alyssa, and she did not want to jump in carelessly. Both Elena and Eva were doing the same. They did not want to focus completely on Alyssa, leaving Amelia free to attack them. Ding! Alyssa received +2 extra tokens for staying on the special zone. She would keep receiving 2 tokens every 10 seconds. This was also a problem for the other 3 competitors. They did not know that Alyssa had not received any tokens until that point. They assumed that if she were this capable, she would have gathered a similar number of tokens to them. Oh, Elena! A girl's voice exclaimed, and Elena turned to see her cousin Rhea approaching. Who is that girl? Elena asked when she noticed Alyssa. I don't know, but her element is space-related. Be careful, Eva warned Rhea. Eva knew Rhea as she would often come to meet Elena in their academy in Desmar. Space. Rhea looked back at Alyssa. Seeing Rhea and Elena, Alyssa's anger increased. These damn Rothschilds, she muttered to herself. She could feel that the effect of the potion was fading, and her body was slowly showing symptoms again. Another 10 seconds passed, and Alyssa received another 2 tokens, but now Elena and Eva were ready to attack her. Rhea's arrival meant that they had another person to hold Amelia if she tried to attack them. But before they could attack her, Amelia decided to attack Alyssa. Amelia moved forward with her dagger in her hand, augmenting her body. She fired a fireball at Alyssa, who diverted it like she did with Elena, but this gave enough time for Amelia to get closer to Alyssa. Lance, Alyssa muttered, confusing Amelia, but she suddenly looked to her right side, where an ice lance was coming towards her. She tried to stop and dodge it, but the lance still grazed her. Amelia stepped back from Alyssa before she could do another attack at her. What? Elena, Eva, and Rhea were all shocked. Two advance elements. Elena spoke. Another advance element, this new contestant seems quite competent, Gazel spoke. The crowd, including many people in the VIP rooms, was surprised to see that Alyssa could wield two advance elements. It's a pity, though, that she only has the space element, someone in one of the VIP rooms said. Well, it doesn't matter, she would never have succeeded considering her past anyway, another person replied. Now, all four of them had acknowledged that Alyssa was a threat that needed to be taken down. They had no information about her, and by seeing Alyssa's capabilities until now, she was a real threat to them. Elena and Eva, you attack her while I take her in close range, Rhea said as she unsheathed her sword. They had no problem teaming up against Alyssa since her abilities were enough for her to keep her position and gain tokens. All they needed to do was remove Alyssa from the special zone to ensure that she did not win. Okay, Eva said as she summoned many barriers. Amelia also knew that fighting with others instead of Alyssa would be a waste of time, so she needed to support them in removing Alyssa from the special zone. Grant strength, she augmented herself. Rhea ran towards Alyssa, and Elena and Eva got ready to attack Alyssa while Amelia was also closing her distance to her. Why do you always? Alyssa muttered to herself as her hands trembled. Just die, 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 die. Several voices shouted inside Alyssa's head. No. Alyssa shouted as many ice lances appeared around her. Alyssa's hair floated upwards, revealing her face and her scar. She was hovering above the ground, looking down on the four of them. I will not lose, she shouted as Amelia felt the gravity around her increase. What the hell? All four of them were finding it difficult to move around. Alyssa's nose was bleeding, and her skin had become paler, but she did not stop. More ice lances kept appearing behind her, and the increasing pressure made it difficult for them to move around. Blue veins were starting to appear around her arms, and blood was dripping from her nose to the ground. It was clear that Alyssa was going beyond her limits for this attack. Damn it! Amelia saw many ice lances appearing in the sky. She was having difficulty, despite her augmented state. Does this bitch want to die? Rhea shouted, but Alyssa still did not stop. Eva stacked many of her barriers to protect herself, but some of them kept shattering as they were formed due to the increased gravity caused by Alyssa. Not like this, Elena did not want to lose. She channeled all her mana and materialized a big fireball over her hands. I will not go down like this, she shouted as she threw the fireball, and the increased gravity was not enough to change the direction of the spell of Elena. Alyssa's eyes were losing focus, but she looked at the fireball that Elena threw at her. A surge of anger flooded into her as she remembered her worst memory. Alyssa conjured another bigger ice lance seeing the coming giant fireball. Multiple dark veins were appearing on her neck region nearing her face. Blood started falling from her eyes. Descend, she spoke as all the ice lances fell towards the four of them, and the big ice lance destroyed the fireball. Amelia saw multiple ice lances coming towards her, but before they could impale her body, she saw the barrier around her activate. Damn it, she cursed as she did not like losing, but she could not do anything against Alyssa. She looked around, seeing all four of them were now eliminated by Alyssa. But instead of being happy, Alyssa looked at her arms full of blue veins, and her eyes watered. Is this how I lose? Alyssa spoke to herself. She used the last of her mana to hover down to the stone platform but did not have enough mana to stand. She fell to her knees as she heard the noise coming from her bracelet, informing her about the tokens she gained from the four of them. But instead of celebrating, she clenched her fist as her pink hair covered her face. She looked up and saw another participant approaching. Clap clap. What a splendid performance, Vanessa Baker spoke. After Sam Allister was eliminated, Asher turned towards Matthew, who took a step back as Asher's cold gaze landed on him. However, knowing he could not escape, Matthew charged forward with his sword in his hand. His strength increased as he used the mana circulation technique that he received from the World Association. Clang. Why? Matthew thought in his head. Every attack he made was easily countered by Asher. I was the one who should have won, he muttered. Matthew had thought this tournament would be the place where he would show the world that the elite families were nothing without the tremendous amount of resources they spent on their children. He wanted to prove that his talent alone was enough to overcome the barrier, but Asher was not someone he could even fathom competing with. Asher indifferently kept countering but decided to end it. Matthew saw Asher slashing down with his sword, and the force behind the attack made Matthew's sword cut into the ground. Before he could remove his hand from the hilt to guard himself, Asher kicked him in the face, immediately activating the barrier. Asher looked in another direction towards the forest. TSK, he got annoyed that the test conductors had activated the barrier before he could mess Matthew up more. Asher looked behind to see Damien, who was cracking his knuckles. You wanna start? Asher asked Damien, knowing what he wanted. Of course, I wanted to test the gap between us, Damien spoke. Asher did not reply. He just quietly stared at Damien before he sighed and dropped his sword. You are still a fool, Asher thought in his mind as he remembered a certain event from the past. Damien saw Asher dropping his sword as he got ready for hand-to-hand combat. Hehe. Don't go easy on me, Damien dashed as he swung his fist at Asher. Asher simply blocked his fist, but Damien's strength and endurance were a bit lower than Asher's. Damien saw Asher doing an overhand right, but Damien ducked as he tried to do a jab at Asher's stomach. Damien thought he could connect his jab, but Asher knee-kicked him, making him lose his balance. Ah, spit, Damien spat out blood. Despite knowing that he would lose to Asher, Damien was smiling. His goal was not to win, and Asher knew what Damien wanted to show by this brawl, contemporary romance. Asher Greville has confirmed his spot for first position, but it seems Damien Seymour is now challenging him, Gazel spoke. This duel was happening before Alyssa's arrival, but it was pretty much clear for everyone who would win now. Another monster in the Greville family, the future High Council will get affected by this, a man in one of the VIP rooms spoke. Many people became more cautious about the growing power of the Greville family. Ads by Pub Future. Damien took a deep breath as his eyes focused on Asher. He dashed towards Asher but stopped his punch and did a roundhouse kick on him. Asher blocked the kick as he grabbed Damien's leg. Too slow. Asher grabbed Damien's leg and threw him towards the stone platform. Damien landed on the ground as he looked at Asher who was coming at him. Strong, he muttered as he got up. Damien changed his stance and started to punch him, but Asher was dodging every strike that Damien sent his way. Asher, instead of dodging the last punch, tilted his body to the right and sent an uppercut on Damien. Damien felt the punch and lost his balance, but Asher grabbed his head and lowered it as he kneed him in the face. Asher kept kicking Damien in the face, but after 5 solid knee hits, Damien stopped the last one with all his strength. He pushed Asher's body and tried to grapple him, but Asher shook his grip off. Huff, huff, huff. Damien looked messed up, but fortunately, all the screens shifted to show Alyssa's fight after she showed her space element. Damien barely opened his left eye and looked at the blurry figure of Asher. It seems I am still too weak, Damien muttered as he fell to the ground, and the barrier activated, giving Asher all his tokens. Asher's indifferent face looked at Damien, who was now unconscious. Only if you were not obsessed over her, but who am I to say this, Asher muttered quietly to himself. Meanwhile, in the girls' tournament, Vanessa was watching Alyssa fight the others. She had arrived just after Rhea Ardal, but she did not rush into the situation and decided to watch them fight. Pink hair. Vanessa squinted her eyes to see Alyssa. Another advance element. Vanessa was surprised to see Alyssa use ice magic. She saw Alyssa as she floated above the ground and summoned many ice lances. She saw all of Alyssa's struggles and her winning against all the participants. Clap clap. What a splendid performance, Vanessa Baker spoke. Alyssa looked up as she glared at Vanessa. Cough cough. She coughed, and blood came out of her mouth, covering her pale face and hands. You are so strong, Vanessa told Alyssa. Alyssa thought that Vanessa was making fun of her. I tried my best then, why? Alyssa thought as her hands gripped the ground. You would have all of their tokens, right? Vanessa spoke. I will protect you until the end of this tournament then, Vanessa spoke as she proudly put her hands on her chest. Huh. Alyssa looked at Vanessa, who took her sword out and stood beside her. Why? She asked, ignoring the pain she was feeling right now. Oh, a fortune teller helped me today. He told me to help someone Pink, and it would help me in the future. Vanessa spoke as she tried to remember the face of the fortune teller, but she couldn't remember it. Strange, I met him today, but I don't remember his face. Vanessa tried to remember as she sat beside Alyssa and put her hand on her head. Purple. Yeah, his eyes were purple. Vanessa clapped her hands and smiled brightly as she looked at Alyssa. Vanessa Baker is doing something strange. Gazel tilted his head as all the audience were confused why she was not attacking. I don't deserve this, Alyssa muttered. She wanted to win but with her own efforts. Having that potion made her think that her body would be able to hold on for a bit more, but she overused her mana due to her lack of experience. What is she doing? The audience got confused. Is she her friend? Many people were discussing the reason Vanessa was just sitting beside Alyssa. Why is this girl even here? James spoke as he was angry from Elena's loss while Philia was silent and kept watching. It would be better for her to lose, Sylvia sighed, seeing Vanessa not eliminating Alyssa. She was bitter that Alyssa defeated Amelia, but she knew that it was Amelia's own fault for being weak. Livia was sad Amelia had lost, and she wanted Vanessa to eliminate Alyssa. Oh, I don't know, but my instincts say to believe in the fortune teller. Vanessa shrugged her shoulders. Alyssa did not know how to reply to Vanessa. Her whole life growing up, she was alone and discriminated against everywhere she went. Getting help from others was not a concept familiar to her. Why is she helping her? Rhea said with a frustrated voice. Don't know, maybe they are friends. Elena replied. She looked at Alyssa as she tried to remember where she had heard about her. Doesn't matter, she defeated us all, Eva said, but her frustration was visible on her face. But among them all, Amelia was silent. She just watched Alyssa and remembered who she was finally. How did I lose to this girl? Amelia thought in her mind. She remembered how she thought that she could win this easily and got eliminated by a girl like Alyssa. Her pride did not allow her to accept her defeat. They all had common thoughts about losing to Alyssa as they could not accept their loss by a girl who could not even stand on her own. The timer kept decreasing the whole time. Alyssa and Asher were almost confirmed for their first spot. Alyssa looked at Vanessa, who just stood there and even defeated 3 participants who arrived at the final location. Alyssa raised her hand after her mana recovered a bit. She looked at Vanessa, who was fighting with another participant. Lance, she spoke as an ice lance appeared behind her and attacked another participant. Phew. Thanks for the assist. Vanessa raised her thumb at Alyssa. Why is she helping me? Many doubts arose in the head of Alyssa regarding Vanessa, but she did not voice it. Winning this was her only chance to execute her plans, and if she was indebted to Vanessa for it, she didn't mind it. I will repay this debt, she thought, looking at Vanessa. The timer hit less than 0 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds greater than. And we have the winners of this tournament. Gazel spoke as the crowd loudly cheered. Many people got upset by the results, but this was a tournament where only your own strength could secure you the win. The leaderboards were removed, and nobody could see them when the timer hit 0 hours 15 minutes and 0 seconds. So, people were excited to see the final score of both Asher and Alyssa. Alyssa and Vanessa looked towards a man coming towards them with a white coat. He was one of the professors who was in charge of this tournament. "So you won," he said to Alyssa with a disgusted look on his face. Alyssa knew why he made such a face, but she knew that this was her fate, and she could do nothing about it. "And you, if you have no spirit to win, don't participate in such tournaments," he spoke to Vanessa. "It's my choice." "What do you mean?" Vanessa wanted to argue, but Alyssa, who could now hover and stand, stopped her. Was there any rule that refrained her from doing that? Alyssa asked. The professor looked at Alyssa. "After all, blood does not lie," he muttered, but Alyssa could hear it, making her clench her fist. "There is the portal that will take you to the stage outside for the winning ceremony. Step in it," he spoke and turned. "What a rude guy," Vanessa said as she showed her tongue at his back. "By the way, my name is Vanessa, Vanessa Baker." She reached out her hand to Alyssa. Alyssa replied and shook her hand. Not an elite family. Alyssa noticed that from Vanessa's surname she was not from an elite family. "Thank you for letting me win." It was shameful for her, but Alyssa still bowed towards Vanessa. "Ah, no, don't do it. I told you before, but if you didn't show such performance against those elite family kids, I would not have helped you," Vanessa replied truthfully. "But still, this win was very important to me," Alyssa said as she remembered the paper she has signed just before joining this tournament. Asterisk 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 asterisk. While she was coming to the tournament waiting room, she was told by the caretaker to sign some documents. "What are these documents?" Alyssa asked the woman who was her caretaker for today. "You have to sign it. These documents state that after today, you have no legal connection to the Astaria family, and your conflicts are your own. The Astaria family will not be held accountable for your mistakes," the caretaker explained with an annoyed look on her face. "So they will disown me?" she asked without reacting much to this news. She expected her father to disown her sooner or later, and she was lucky enough that she had the chance to attend the World Academy. "Yeah, and you will have no shares in the property of the Astaria family," she explained. Although Alexander said it was difficult for him to disown Alyssa completely because she still had the blood of the Astaria family, he wanted to remove any chance of her claiming any of the assets of the Astaria family. "And what if I don't sign it?" she glared at the woman. Ads by Pub Future. "You cannot attend the World Academy without signing it," the woman smiled at her. "I will sign it." Alyssa took the paper and signed on it. She knew that what the World Academy could offer her was better than getting the money from the Astaria family. There was a reason why children of the elite families attended. Asterisk 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 asterisk. In the boys' final location, another professor appeared in front of Asher. "Congratulations on winning the tournament, you can now pass through that portal," the professor informed Asher. "Your performance was wonderful, even your swordsmanship was perfect," he praised Asher. "You truly live up to the expectations of the grandson of the sword god," he spoke. "Can I go?" Asher asked with an indifferent look on his face. "Oh, yeah. The professor scratched his head and smiled as he made way for Asher to move. The test conductors were taking the injured students to the medical facility and also retrieving those who were still in the forest. Alyssa and Vanessa appeared on the stage and saw the huge amount of people sitting in the stadium cheering loudly for them. "Our winners of this representative have arrived," Gazel spoke. Alyssa looked to her left as another person stepped out of the portal. She looked at the boy who was coming out with blood on his hands and his armor that was given by the World Academy. She stared at the boy with black hair and crimson red eyes that seemed like they wanted to devour everything. She kept looking at him, but she came out of her trance as Vanessa spoke. Wow, he is so handsome, Vanessa spoke as she looked at Asher who came out of the portal. Amelia, Elena, Eva, and Rhea also stepped out after Alyssa as they stood a bit away from her. Elena looked at Asher, who was covered with blood. Her body started trembling remembering the incident at the party. Where is Kevin? She looked around to spot Kevin. Stop, Elena. Eva lightly shook Elena, who was panicking not seeing Kevin. I think Kevin lost to him, Eva said with a sad look on her face. They did not think that Kevin would lose to Asher, knowing that he was capable enough to go to A-rank dungeons and hunt F-rank monsters. We have the winner of this year. Gazel spoke. For the first place of the boys' tournament, we have Asher von Raven-Gravel. He spoke. With the total of 92 tokens, setting a new record with the previous one of 60 tokens, Gazel spoke. For the first place of the girls' tournament, we have Alyssa Astaria. Gazel had to speak the full name here because of the rules of the ceremony. With the total of 88 tokens, setting a new record with the previous one being 58 tokens, Gazel said, but instead of cheering, the crowd went silent. Astaria. Wait, didn't they only have a son? Is she the daughter of his first wife? What about Garcia's blood? Noises started appearing, but they got silenced as Arman quickly appeared and took the mic. Alyssa knew the reaction, but it still hurt her as she let her head down. As you all know, the rules state that the winner of this tournament will become the representative of the first-year students, Arman spoke. So we will have Alyssa and Asher Gravel as the first-year head students, Arman spoke. But instead of cheering, a voice came from one of the participants who stood on the stage. How could a person with Garcia's blood become a representative? Rhea Adler shouted as everyone looked at her. This is the rule, and I cannot change it, Arman firmly replied. So you are saying we should now follow the commands of this ugly Garcia's girl, Rhea spoke, and many other students on the stage started agreeing with her. Yeah. How could they allow a Garcia's child in the World Academy? A boy spoke. Just look at her. She is so ugly, just like her blood, the girl spoke. Even the crowd started hurling insults at Alyssa. Die, 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 die. Voices saying to kill herself started to appear in Alyssa's head. She started having trouble breathing, and pain in her chest started to rise up due to increasing stress. No, no. She started muttering. Vanessa got confused by the situation and could not even look at Alyssa, who stood beside her. Why is this dumb bitch speaking so loudly? Asher spoke as he looked at Rhea Adler. Everyone looked at Asher, but Alyssa still had her head down. Excuse me, Rhea shouted at Asher, not expecting him to insult her in front of so many people. Can't you hear me? Asher's cold eyes intimidated Rhea. Why do I need to say it again and again for your family to understand not to speak too much? Asher's cold voice made Elena tremble as she lowered her gaze. This bastard, James flared up his mana, but Phileas stopped him. Does speaking so loudly run in your filthy blood? Asher spoke, but as a sudden wave of pressure downed the whole stadium. Do you want to die, boy? A 50-year-old looking man appeared in front of the crowd and looked down at Asher floating in the air. His blonde hair floated in the air, and his deep blue eyes landed on Asher who looked above. Grandfather. Elena looked at the man floating in the air. No way, Dalton Rothschild, a person exclaimed. The SSS rank hunter of the Rothschild family, another person spoke. Asher recognized the person as he was none other than the grandfather of Elena, Dalton Rothschild, who was one of the 11 SSS rank hunters in the world. It seems nobody taught you the consequences of your actions, Dalton said as cracks started to appear in the barrier that separated the stage and the crowd. Arman almost stepped in to calm Dalton Rothschild down, but another flood of pressure was felt a bit greater than Dalton. Unlike Dalton's aura, which made you look up to him in awe for his strength, the man that appeared instilled fear in others. Hehehehehehehe, Nathan laughed. When did a Greville start to fear the consequences? Nathan looked at Dalton, contemporary romance. Do you think you rule this world? Dalton said as a blue-hilted sword appeared in his hands. It seems like people have forgotten about me. Nathan said as the space around him turned redder, and a reddish-black greatsword with a gem on the hilt appeared in his hand. Fuck, this old man might kill us all, Arthur panicked after seeing Nathan take out his greatsword. Armand raised his hand as he and the other professors struggled to shield the audience and the students on the stage from the sheer pressure emitted by Nathan and Dalton. Every single person in the audience was terrified by Nathan's sheer presence. Is this the strength of SSS rank hunters? A participant trembled. Armand was sweating as he pushed back the aura of two SSS rank hunters who weren't even trying to hurt others. The difference between SS and SSS rank was huge. This was why SSS rank hunters were so revered throughout the world. They were the ultimate powerhouses of humanity, needed to counter the rare occurrence of SSS rank dungeons. Are they gonna fight? A girl stuttered. The crack kept getting larger around the barrier as all the present high-rank professors tried to stabilize the situation. You think I am afraid of you? Dalton spoke. I always got irked by odd numbers, Arthur said as his mana kept flaring. But today, you gave me a chance to change it, Arthur said as he gripped his greatsword. Lucas, Livia, and Nate were being shielded by Arthur, Sylvie, and the Seymour couple. Livia looked at Nathan's greatsword with awe. She and Lucas, unlike Nate, were almost fine despite the aura of fear Nathan was passively releasing in his surroundings. She was more excited to see Nathan fight, not knowing that if Dalton and Nathan did fight, her own life would be in danger. Watch your words, Nathaniel Greville. Dalton spoke as he glared at Nathan. Dalton was a proud man and previously ignored the incident between Asher and Elena because Elena was the one who instigated it. But today, Asher had directly insulted his family in front of the whole world. Try me, Nathan said as he raised his sword, while Dalton did the same. Can you two gentlemen stop? An old man spoke as he appeared between Nathan and Dalton. As the old man appeared, both Nathan and Dalton's pressure, which was releasing due to their presence alone, was suppressed. Everyone, including the professors, could now breathe, knowing the man who had appeared. Armand breathed a sigh of relief as he looked at the old man. Finally, the principal has arrived, a professor spoke as he looked at the old man. Nathan and Dalton both looked at the old man, who had grayish hair and black eyes, wearing a white suit. He had a short beard, and looking into his eyes, you could see the wisdom behind them. He looked older than Nathan and Dalton, but his presence was like a dragon. Although he appeared to be weaker than Nathan, he was the current strongest human in the whole world. TCH, Nathan clicked his tongue. If you want to fight, do it somewhere else. This is my academy, and I expect you to remember the rules that were declared by the High Council, the old man reasoned with Nathan and Dalton. So, I request that you go back to your rooms or leave this island and carry your little fight somewhere else, he smiled as he looked at Nathan and Dalton. Nathan and Dalton both took their weapons back and disappeared. And, Miss Rhea Adler, am I right? The old man looked down, making Rhea look up. The rules of this tournament were clear, and it is your own fault for losing. His calm voice made the crowd, who was scared by Nathan, feel a bit more relaxed. Ads by Pub Future. And if you will get your chance next year to compete again, he spoke. And if anyone else still has problems with Miss Alyssa Astaria, they can leave the World Academy, he spoke. Alyssa was still looking down, with her illness still messing with her thoughts. Professor Armand, the old man looked at Armand. Take both of our winners to their rooms and give them their gifts, he spoke. And I announce the end of this tournament. To the new students, we will meet again at the opening ceremony in the next 2 days when you will enter the World Academy, the old man spoke and disappeared into thin air. Professor Erman quickly signaled Gazel, who was still digesting what had happened just now. "Ah, so I hope you enjoyed the tournament." He spoke. "You guys follow me," Arman said to Asher and Alyssa, who were still in their messed up state. "Miss Alyssa," Arman called. "Hello, Miss Alyssa." He spoke a bit louder. Alyssa, Vanessa spoke to her while touching her shoulders. "Ah, yeah." Alyssa immediately looked up as she breathed heavily. "Please follow me," he repeated as Alyssa and Asher quietly followed Arman. "I hope she is fine." Vanessa looked at Alyssa, not knowing what to think of her. "It will be tough for her inside," Vanessa sighed as she saw another staff who was guiding them to another exit. Rhea clenched her fist and stood next to Elena. "Eva, even if she won, why should we listen to her?" Rhea muttered. "Who told you we should listen to her?" Eva replied. "What do you mean?" Elena was the one who questioned her. "You are forgetting who is the president of the current student council, Elena," Eva said. "Yeah, she would definitely help us against both that Greville bastard and that ugly bitch." Rhea smiled as she remembered who the current student council president was. "Do you think so?" "Don't forget he is the heir of the Greville family." Elena spoke. "Outside of the World Academy, inside we are just first years same as the others," Eva smiled. They spoke more about the topic as they left the stage. "Whoa, this tournament was indeed quite different from the others." Licia spoke as she stood up to leave with Revel but stopped seeing Revel, who was still sitting deeply thinking about something. "What happened, father?" Licia asked. "Contemporary romance." He looked at his daughter and thought about something. "Licia," he spoke. "Yes," Licia replied. "Make sure you stay away from the factions inside the World Academy." He spoke to Licia with a serious look on his face. "Okay," Licia replied quickly. "I am speaking as the king of Halcyon, not as your father," Revel repeated. "Yes, your majesty." Licia bowed. But joining one of the factions was her plan, but if her father was so against it, she could not do it. Revel stood up and left with Licia. In another VIP room. "Matthew didn't perform that well," a person spoke. "Well, what could he do in front of that monster of a kid?" another replied. "Tell the chairman about all of the events that happened," he spoke. "We can help the Rothschild against the Greville if everything works out," he continued. In the Rothschild VIP room. "Now we have no reason to back down, Philia." James looked at his wife and spoke. "Sigh. I wanted to avoid this, but don't involve the kids in this." Philia looked at James. "Don't worry, this will not turn out like it did with the Garcia family," James assured her. James opened his phone and typed something while they left the room. The arrangements were done for them in the way that when they took the teleportation portal, they would not meet other VIPs. In the Greville VIP room. "Good that the principal stopped them," Verena Seymour said. "That old man is just crazy, but I don't know why Asher stood up for that girl," Arthur said, confused by Asher's actions. "Maybe he wanted to help her," David reasoned. Knowing his personality, I don't think so," Sylvie said, speaking of Asher in a rare negative manner. She did not want Asher to be involved with Alyssa. "I think we should warn him, Arthur," Sylvie said, looking at Arthur. The twins were confused as to why they were thinking so much about Asher helping one girl. Even though Livia did not like Alyssa defeating Amelia, she did not like people demeaning her so much. Lucas, on the other hand, was thinking about something else. While everybody was looking at Nathan and Dalton, he was closely watching Asher. He was the only one who was watching him at that moment among all the people present. The whole time, Asher was only looking at Alyssa with a gentle look on his face that Lucas had never seen before. But what was even more strange was that he could see a weird purple light near Asher's neck region which disappeared shortly after it appeared. However, he did not pay much attention to it. He was more surprised to see Asher's face, which was different from his usual indifferent expression. He wanted to talk about it, but he didn't know if Asher would appreciate him discussing all of this without even knowing why both Arthur and Sylvie were so concerned about Alyssa. Asher and Alyssa were following Armand through a long corridor without speaking. Even Armand was uncomfortable due to both of them not asking him anything. They arrived at the room and entered after Armand, and they saw 2 sofas and a table with some snacks and a special drink. "Have a seat," Armand gestured towards the sofas, and Asher and Alyssa sat on opposite ends. "Take this special drink, this will help your guys, especially you," Armand said as he looked at Alyssa. Alyssa hesitated for a moment, but Asher took a sip without hesitation. The liquid was cool and refreshing, with a hint of sweetness and a subtle tingle on the tongue. "First of all, congratulations on your wins," said Armand, as he pressed on his phone, and a hologram appeared. "I am Professor Armand, and I teach about the black element, as you might have heard. But moving on, as you know, this tournament was to decide the first-year student representatives." A hologram appeared on his palm from his bracelet, displaying the World Academy's insignia, a shield-shaped emblem with intricate golden designs etched on a deep blue background. In the emblem, there were 22 golden small stars representing the number of seats in the High Council. Armand took out 2 blue rings with golden designs on them. "Take these," he said as a black shadow took the rings and placed them on Asher and Alyssa's palms. "These rings will represent your status inside the World Academy. And only by wearing them, you can use the privilege of being the first-year representative," he said. "Having them makes you part of the student council, but your role and position will be decided by the student council itself," Armand explained. "The student council has their own authority inside the World Academy, which can rival some professors but not all of them. You will learn more about this once you join officially," he added. "And don't worry, these rings don't have any function that will jeopardize any kind of information about you to us or anybody else." He looked at Asher. "What are the privileges exactly?" Asher asked, and his voice made Alyssa, who was in deep thought staring at the ring in her hand, come back to reality. "As you know, once you enter the World Academy as a student, you are not allowed to leave the floating island unless the Academy needs you to leave for some assessment or something else," Armand said. "But if you have these rings, you can leave, but you still need to come back within a week, or you will receive some sort of punishment," Armand explained. This was another reason Asher participated in this tournament. For some of his plans, he needed to leave the academy, and doing so was only possible if you were part of the student council. And you might have heard about this, but inside the World Academy, most of the facilities do not use OR. Instead, we use our own point system, which grants your GP, said Armand. GP stands for grade points, although you can still buy around 1000 GP monthly using real money or exchange them from other students as well, he added. This was done to ensure that normal students could live comfortably and earn their facilities. This also made sure that competitiveness amongst students was high. But no matter how anyone tried to bring down the social status to an equal level, there would always be some sort of inequality present. So they allowed students to buy GP monthly, but the conversion rate was high to discourage this behavior. 1 GP costed around 1000 AUR, although you could still get it cheaper by exchanging it for something from students as well. Ads by Pub Future. And as first-year heads, we give you around 1000 GP monthly, and you can spend it however you like. If you climb to a higher position inside the student council, you might get even more, Armand said. This statement grabbed Alyssa's attention, but it didn't matter much to Asher, who had the funds and ways to get any amount of GP he wanted. Remember that although this position gives you some authority over students, you cannot force or threaten others, Armand said. Right now, you might feel like you are the first ranker, but this could change in the assessment test that will happen in 2 months, Armand said. And if you are not in the top 5, we will remove your status as the year representative, Armand spoke. And the assessment test will judge all your strengths and weaknesses. Arman looked at Alyssa. I saw your performance, but you also know that you would not have won if they had not underestimated you. Arman spoke as he looked directly at Alyssa. This time nobody knew about your bad health and your condition, but that will change the next time you get into such a situation. His words made Alyssa a bit nervous as she looked down. But you don't have to worry. The assessment test will be a team match, not a solo one, although I will not tell you more about it. And don't forget there will be a written test which can help or stop you from achieving your spot in the top 5, he said. Why tell us in advance? Asher said as a frown appeared on his face. Don't worry, count this as one of the privileges. Having good impressions on your professors will help you greatly, Arman said as he smiled. Although Arman had another reason for treating Alyssa a bit nicely, he saw Amy helping her in the waiting room, and he remembered that it was Asher who sent her there from the conversation he overheard. But he was not lying when he said that having a good or bad relationship with professors could impact your life inside the World Academy. Although we make sure that nothing bad happens to the students inside the World Academy, we mostly do not intervene if the rules are not broken, he said carefully. This means that students can find a loophole around our rules, and we are aware of it, but just like outside life, the World Academy is also not fair, he continued. Contemporary romance. But what we can guarantee is that no outsider will touch you while you are inside the World Academy, he said. And Asher knew that very well as he was one of those people who used those loopholes inside the World Academy in his previous life. But that will be all. We will talk more, but it will be inside the World Academy 3 days later, and I need to leave now. You guys can get to know each other and leave whenever you feel comfortable, Arman said and disappeared from the room. Alyssa was a bit surprised, but not enough to make her flinch. She looked at Asher, who wore the ring, and looked at her. Hello, I am Asher von Greville, the heir of the Greville family. He brought his hand forward. Ah, I am Alyssa. She got a bit surprised by his actions as until now, he looked like a person who did not like to interact much with others. She brought her hands forward, and as both of their hands touched, time stopped, and some chains made of something unknown appeared around their hands, wrapping their whole body. Warning. Closing square bracket. A harmful energy is intruding host's body. Using blessing cannot use. Time had stopped, so neither Asher nor Alyssa nor anyone else in the whole world could sense what was happening. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Far from Earth in the vast universe, in a plane where nothing moved, everything was at stall. The woman sat in a place beyond time itself, a place where the universe around her was frozen in stillness. Her face was covered with a fog-like veil, only leaving her eyes which could be seen but they were closed. Despite the stillness of the world around her, the woman seemed to be at ease. She appeared to be completely in control, as if time itself were a mere tool for her to shape and mold as she pleased. She opened her eyes, revealing her dark black eyes with green pupils. As she opened her eyes, everything around her that was paused started moving. A small purple crack appeared in front of her and she stood up. Law of chaos is weakening, she spoke as she looked around her. I listened to you and granted him a chance, she spoke as she looked at the purple crack that kept getting bigger. I told you that destiny is not something you will be able to fight. I have given him a blessing as you asked, but it will become useless now, she spoke. The crack got bigger and a purple hand emerged from the crack and it came for the neck of this woman. But as it got close, chains appeared, stopping it from harming her. You cannot interfere with the true will, she said as she looked at the chains which protected her. The chain kept strangling as the hand broke into multiple pieces and disappeared. The crack opened, and inside it was a space full of darkness. Not a single speck of light could be seen in it. A purple light grew bigger as it shaped into a smile, and the crack disappeared. "This will be the last time I intervene." She waved her hands as a bright green wave went out and disappeared from her space. She sat down again, closed her eyes, and made the space around her freeze in stillness again. Warning. Closing square bracket. A harmful energy is intruding host's body. Using blessing cannot use. The chains tightened around the two of them. A strange grayish energy started to corrode the chains coming from Ash's body, but it could not keep up as more chains kept appearing. System failure. Closing square bracket. Host in mortal danger. Closing square bracket. Source. Alyssa Astaria. Force quest initiation. Kill Alyssa. Using emergency system function. But out of nowhere, the grayish energy that was corroding the chains started to move itself towards Asher. Host in mortal danger. Closing square bracket. Source. Closing square bracket. The time was still as the system was using the hidden function that was only meant to be used when Asher was near death. The system was detecting multiple sources of energies, but it had already used all the functions it was supposed to use. Suddenly, greenish energy flooded the room and wrapped itself around both their bodies. The chain started to disappear gradually as the green energy took over. Cancelling quest. Error. Closing square bracket. The green energy had managed to counter the chains, but the grayish energy was still attacking and damaging the system's traces inside Asher. A purple spark appeared, and multiple runes started to appear in thin air. Admin access granted. System modification started. Removing force quest function. Removing host takeover. Removing soul tampering. Updating system. Closing square bracket. Many traces of the system inside Asher were disappearing, but the purple spark kept producing multiple unknown runes. Contemporary romance. Removing fate limitation. Warning. Continuing this will decrease the host's fate accumulation rate. Force admin override. Giving host full access. Restricting information. Closing square bracket. Adding level restriction. Closing square bracket. System update complete. Removing admin traces. A voice appeared out of the purple spark. Trial, but it stopped. The chains had now completely disappeared, and the greenish energy turned around and attacked the purple spark, but before it could, the spark disappeared. Asterisk 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 asterisk. In another dark space, and multiple sparks of purple energy appeared. They joined together and took the shape of a man. "My time to leave has come," it spoke as the chains appeared inside the dark space, trying to capture the purple energy. "This system was a failure, so I will give you full control," the voice echoed in the huge dark space. "Hee. Crazy guy he is," the voice laughed. "But still, he is not evil enough," the voice spoke as the purple energy went rampage inside the dark space, hitting the uncountable number of chains that were eating the dark space. "But I truly wish you win," it spoke as the chains were overpowering the purple energy. "But in the end, your end will just be less miserable than mine, ha 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 ha," the voice went crazy as it disappeared from this world forever. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Ads by Pub Future. Inside the room, time resumed as Ash's face went a bit pale. "You're fine," Alyssa spoke as she removed her hand. "What happened?" Asher questioned because he was feeling a bit strange. "You look pale," Alyssa replied. "Why am I talking so much?" she wondered, as she never had talked to another person this comfortably. "Pale." Asher brought out his phone to look at his face, which was indeed paler. Warning. Closing square bracket. He saw a system notification, but as he was with Alyssa, he decided to check it outside. "Let me go wash my face," I will come back in a minute. Asher stood up before receiving Alyssa's answer. Alyssa just saw Asher, who left the room. Wait, I forgot to ask him about the painting, Alyssa remembered. She tried to stand up, but suddenly. She clenched her chest as her pain started to appear again. I should wait for him. She sat on the sofa again, bearing with her pain. Asher went out of the room and traveled a bit far into the empty space in the hallway. Looking around and sensing no one was present, he decided to look at the notification, which appeared altogether in front of him. Warning. Closing square bracket. You are getting inflicted with a curse. Your blessing was removed as it could not overpower the curse. All your skills have remained and could still be used. What is happening? Asher questioned the system in his mind. Host's contact with Alyssa Astaria resulted in host getting cursed. Many of the functionalities of the system has been removed due to this. And if I am not wrong, Alyssa Astaria is also cursed just like host. Asher's eyes went dull as he heard this, and his aura changed completely. Tell me about this curse, he muttered with his cold voice. Fate Devourer System. Name, Asher von Ravengrevel. Level, 17, EXP 1000, 17,000. Bloodline, Devil's Absorption Rank SSS. Cursed, Curse of Fate, Active. Body Constitution, Mana Core Rank A+. Quests, Synthesis. Curse of Fate, Rank, doesn't exist. 1. The one who bore this curse is fated to die. The bearer of this curse will usually get hated by others. 2. Level 2 low. For more information. Closing square bracket. Asher looked at his status where the blessing had been changed into the curse. Both of must have been cursed, but the impact is much larger now due to host's interference in his destiny. Closing square bracket. It seems that your destiny is not something that was meant to be changed. Closing square bracket. Changing destiny just by devouring fate is not possible, and this curse is the proof of that. Closing square bracket. Curse of Fate. How will I remove this? Asher asked. The system doesn't know how to remove this curse. But the host will get an opportunity in the coming years. What about Alyssa? Asher asked the system. Him getting cursed was not an issue bigger than Alyssa's. Her curse and yours are strangely connected. Fetching Alyssa Astaria's status. Closing square bracket. System window. Name, Alyssa Astaria. Cursed, Curse of Fate, active. Fate. Points 150, Asher von Ravengrevel. She had a very low number of fate points that would result in her death in the coming years. But due to this curse, your and Alyssa's fate points are now connected. The moment one of your fate points reaches 0, both of you will die, and nobody can stop it. But strangely, this curse has connected your fates, so she has the same number of fate points as the host. But your fate will not bring you any luck as it would have previously. You need the fate points to survive, but you will not receive any benefits like others who have greater fate. The system has more information, but it will remain sealed for now. The host will be able to access it in the future. Asher was not following everything that was happening right now. His brain was already calculating all possibilities, and he came to the realization that this must have been the reason for Alyssa's death in his previous life. There were multiple times that Asher had tried to protect Alyssa, but he thought it was due to his low fate that he could not prevent her death. However, learning that both of their fates were low, and her suffering was also because of this curse, made a lot more sense to Asher. But the system has received great damage, and for now, you cannot receive quests and their rewards. But the hidden quest system is fine, so the host can still continue with his plan, and if they meet the conditions, you will be able to gain the rewards. Quest rewards. Generating. Both quests completed. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Quest completed. Objective: win the tournament. Reward: 1000 fate points. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Quest completed. Objective: dominate Kevin Whiteheart. Reward: 2000 fate points. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Curse of fate reducing the rewards. Closing square bracket. Total fate points earned changed. 3000, greater than 1500. Damn it, Asher cursed. I should kill them all. His killing intent was rising, and he wanted to strangle everybody who was involved with Alyssa and him in his previous life. He rubbed his forehead, knowing that the moment he openly killed anyone from the elite families, even his own family, despite being so powerful, would not be able to save him. The immunity of being inside the World Academy was the rule decided by the High Council, and breaking it resulted in a death sentence. This was the reason why kids from enemy families were studying in the same academy without killing each other. The host can now fight and kill others with greater fate, but remember that you will not gain any fate from them. But you will also have no penalties for killing them. Of course, because I have already gained the penalty, Asher was annoyed with the random variables that kept coming his way. He took a deep breath to calm down his mind. Asher's face changed as a smile appeared on his face. I have a lot of time to play and kill them all slowly. Asher's eyes were full of madness, and his true self was coming out slowly. He knew that he would get enough time to carry out his plans and get stronger while being inside the World Academy. And the main reason he was attending World Academy was to stop the death of Alyssa that was bound to happen in the future. I am still short on fate points. Asher saw that his total had still not reached 10,000. A bit more, he said. Asher turned and went back towards the room. Asher arrived back in the room and saw Alyssa, who was gripping the sofa tightly, trying to calm herself down. Are you fine? He asked as he sat down on the opposite sofa. Yeah, don't mind me, she said as she looked at Asher. Like others, Alyssa found Asher's face to be very handsome, and his cold personality complemented his looks greatly. But she was not in a position to appreciate such small things. As you already know, I am Alyssa Astaria. Well, not anymore though, she said. Asher tilted his head, acting confused. Oh, I am not officially part of the Astaria family now, so I would rather avoid using their name, Alyssa explained. She might have looked friendly with her conversations, but her thought process was a mess. I don't really care about your family, Asher said as he looked at Alyssa. Well, I just wanted to tell you because we will meet each other a lot, she spoke, but her face and eyes were dull. If anyone else looked at their expressions, they would have thought both of them wanted to leave the room. But what I wanted to know was why the esteemed heir of the Greville family gave me that potion. Alyssa decided to cut the small talk and ask Asher directly. It was a return gift for the painting, he replied casually. You bought that painting? I did not gift it to you, Alyssa said as her expression turned serious. That painting was quite beautiful for the cheap price I bought it for, so that potion was the compensation for it. Asher looked Alyssa right in her eyes as he spoke. I will be straightforward with you, Asher said. I don't care if you have Garcia family's blood or any other family. His words made Alyssa grip the sofa even harder. People call me ruthless, cold, and many other things, but I don't care about them, Asher continued. The potion I gifted you was honestly nothing to me. It might be a big deal for you, but not for me, his words were honest. I see. I will repay you for that. Alyssa did not want to offend Asher, so she decided to play it safe. And how? Asher questioned. What do you want in return? Alyssa spoke. I have nothing right now, but it will change in the future. I don't want to make any guarantees, but I will at least repay the amount of that portion. Alyssa spoke with no emotions on her face. I think we have talked enough. I will leave now and not waste your time, Alyssa said as she stood up, and her hair floated due to her using the space element. Wait, Asher's voice made Alyssa turn. Take this. Asher threw a keycard at Alyssa. What is this? Alyssa asked, looking at the keycard that stopped before coming near her and kept floating in the air. I want to create an independent team of hunters under me. You have talent, and I have the resources, he spoke. This is the location of one of the hotels where the top floor is booked under my company name, Asher spoke. Ads by Pub Future. So, Alyssa asked, not fearing Asher's cold demeanor one bit like others. I want to recruit you, he told her directly. I will become your sponsor, but you need to work for me from now on, Asher said, contemporary romance. Look, Mr. Greville, if you think the whole world can be bought by money and status, you are wrong, Alyssa said as the room's temperature began to drop. Small flakes of frost started appearing inside the empty glasses, and Asher looked at Alyssa. Are you suggesting that I'm weak like those people you defeated today? Asher said, using his own mana to push Alyssa down. Alyssa stood her ground, but she could sense that Asher was equally or more powerful than her when she could harness her full power. Listen, I'll give you some advice. Your family won't be able to save you from every mess you create, Alyssa told Asher. Even if your grandfather is the sword god or your family owns the Abyss Guild and the Abyss Corporation, everyone in this world has to face consequences, Alyssa continued. And you should distance yourself from me for your own image, she added. Although this was what Alyssa wanted, she needed to create an image that she did not want to intervene with elite families. If she looked desperate, maybe Asher would have lost interest in her and stayed away. It's my independent team, and we'll only work together until the end of the term at the World Academy, Asher replied. Well, go rest at this hotel free of cost and think about my offer, Asher said as he moved past Alyssa. I can't assure you that I'll accept your request, Alyssa replied. Asher touched the door and stopped. My personal maid, Emmy, will take you to the hotel without anyone knowing. I'll keep it a secret that you work with me for now, Asher said before leaving the room. I didn't think he would offer me a job. He didn't seem as cold as people said on the internet, Alyssa spoke to herself. Greville and Rothschild are already enemies after today's event. I just need to pit him against others and kill them, Alyssa thought. Asher, who was in the hallway, had already notified Emmy to pick Alyssa up, and she had already gone to take Alyssa to the hotel Asher mentioned. Asher went out, and the staff member took him to the portal that would take him back to the portal dome at Soren. As he left, Asher saw that his car was already waiting to pick him up. The driver opened the door for Asher, who sat inside and closed his eyes as they drove towards the Greville mansion. While in his car, Asher remembered his past life and the events that had happened. In his previous life, when Amelia arrived in Somaria, she took Elena, Kevin, and Eva to the Greville mansion, despite Damien telling her not to do so. She arrived at the mansion, hoping to see her family, when she saw Asher, who had arrived home after following Sylvia around to her meetings in the afternoon. His eyes were dull, and his face was indifferent when he saw Amelia. His gaze was not cold but of a person who had lost attachment to his life. Hey Ash, how have you been? Damien greeted Asher before Amelia. Fine, what about you? Asher spoke. Well, not so great without you, but meet them. They are Amelia's friends she met during this semester. Damien looked at Asher and spoke. Hello, I'm Elena Rothschild, Elena greeted Asher, surprised to see his handsome face. I'm Kevin Whiteheart. Kevin was a bit surprised seeing Asher's face but he greeted him normally. Hi, I'm Eva Williams. Eva also greeted him. I'm Asher von Greville, the eldest son of the Greville family. He spoke and looked at Amelia. I'm tired, so I'm going back to my room. You can entertain your guests yourselves, Asher said as he left them. Ah, Amelia, don't mind him. He is just not good with new people. Damien tried to soothe Amelia, who was annoyed at Asher's carefree response towards her and her friends. Why do you always take his side? Amelia said with a frustrated voice. Relax, Amelia, it's his birthday soon, and I don't want to dampen his mood, Damien tried to explain. Ah, Dad is calling me, I need to leave soon. Damien's phone rang, so he left the mansion. Whoa, your brother is quite aloof. Elena spoke while she touched Amelia's shoulders. Ah, don't mind him, Amelia spoke. After some days during the birthday party, I would like to announce Asher as the heir of the Greville family. Arthur spoke as many people raised their glasses. What? Why him? Amelia spoke while she was sitting with Elena and others at a table. Yeah, why would they make a guy who is not even awakened the heir of your family? Kevin spoke. Amelia was frustrated and thought that their parents liked Asher more despite him being so unwilling to become an awakened person and train. Wait, I have a plan, Elena said as the gift ceremony began. What plan? Eva questioned her as she did not like Elena when she became excited like this. Just wait, Elena shushed her. As multiple people presented their gifts, Elena came up with her gift. Before I show my gift, I wanted to see the capabilities of the new heir of the Greville family, Elena said as she smiled. What do you mean? Asher questioned her with a bored look on his face. Let's have a friendly duel between me and you. We will only use basic martial arts and no mana, Elena spoke. I am a mage, so I will have no upper hand over you, she challenged Asher with a smile. Due to her challenge, many guests started gossiping with each other. Miss Rothschild, it seems you have no manners on how to behave at a party, Asher spoke. I don't want to entertain such stupid requests. You can take your gift and go back, he said with an indifferent look that annoyed Elena. I think this is enough, Amelia said quietly to Eva as she did not like where this was going. Let her, Kevin spoke, stopping Eva from calling Elena back. Wow, are you afraid of me? A girl. Elena giggled. Tap tap. Know your limits, girl, Sylvia said as she tapped on the glass of wine in her hand. Elena knew about Sylvia's nature as she had heard about her a lot from her mother, so she decided to go back quietly. Haha, that guy is so weak. He will not survive a week in the academy like this, Kevin chuckled as Elena sat at her table with a smug expression on her face. But Sylvia, on the other hand, was a bit disappointed by Amelia, who did not stop her own friend from ridiculing her family. Amelia was a bit nervous, knowing what Elena had done, but she could not do anything now. Asher opened his eyes as he saw that he had arrived at the Greville mansion, and some cars were already there, so it meant others had also arrived. Asher entered the living room and saw both the Greville and Seymour families sitting there. Nathan was absent, as he was attending a tournament in his busy schedule, and the incident with Dalton Rothschild had caused some people to move. Oh, here he is, David spoke when he saw Asher coming in. Damien lifted his hand, waving towards Asher as he smiled, but the bandage on his face made him look a bit silly, and Nate quietly laughed at him. Congratulations on winning, Verena spoke first. Thank you, Asher replied politely. Congratulations on winning, brother, Lucas spoke as he sat on one of the sofas with Nate. Livia was not present as she was with Amelia, who wanted to spend some time in her room. She allowed Livia to follow her but rejected everyone else. This defeat had demotivated her a lot. She thought she was powerful enough to stand beside Asher and be a proud member of the Greville family. Asher, do you mind sitting here for a moment? Sylvie spoke, but her mood was serious. Asher did not mind and sat down on one of the empty sofas. Can you tell me why you helped that girl? Sylvie spoke as she took a sip from the cup of tea in her hand. Why does it matter? Asher's face became cold, making Sylvie frown. Do you not know what I am talking about? Sylvie put the cup on the table. Sylvie, I think we should talk about this later. Arthur tried to calm Sylvie down. Be silent, Arthur. She turned to Asher. Now tell me, why did you help her? It was rare for Sylvie to be so against and strict with Asher. She would usually take a more peaceful or calm approach, but this time it was different. It is my choice what I do, and I did what I feel was right, Asher said as his crimson red eyes stared at Sylvie. The air around Sylvie became cold, making every adult present a bit nervous. You are the heir of our family. There are some things you need to be careful of when you are in public, she glared at Asher. What if I get involved with her? Asher challenged Sylvie. Asher, go to your room. Arthur decided to intervene before the matter escalated further. I am still talking, Sylvie tried to speak, but Arthur put a hand on her shoulder and shook his head. Asher stood up and started going upstairs. Damien, can you go to his room and talk with him? Arthur told Damien. Yeah, uncle? Damien got up and went after Asher. Contemporary romance. Arthur, we need to tell him to stay away from that girl, Sylvie spoke. Sylvie, but he actually did a good thing helping her. Verena tried to reason with her. Verena, I know, but even though that girl was innocent, I will not allow my son to get involved with her, Sylvie said. You have already seen his talent. He would definitely become an SSS rank hunter, Sylvie continued. You are correct, but you should not pressure him too much, Verena spoke. Ads by Pub Future. He will be joining the World Academy soon, so let's not make the mood gloomy, right? Verena clapped her hands. I guess you're right, but I hope he stays away from her, Sylvie sighed. Listening to all this talk made Lucas remember the look on Asher's face, but he kept silent and did not tell anyone else about it. Asher was walking in the hallway when Damien caught up to him. Yo, Mr. Winner, be happy you won. Damien caught up to Asher and started walking with him. Asher noticed Damien, but he kept walking silently. They passed many servants who also greeted them. Damien remained silent until they arrived in Asher's room. Wow, the last time I went into your room was when we were kids and I was hiding from my parents because I wanted to play with you and Amelia, Damien chuckled. Well, you ratted me out pretty quickly, Asher said, sitting on an empty chair. Asher went to his wardrobe, which was full of expensive clothing, and took out a t-shirt to change into. I heard things went crazy on the stage, Damien spoke. Yeah, Asher replied. It sucks that Amelia lost. She seemed pretty sad about it, Damien said as he looked around the room. It's her fault for being weak, Asher said as he put on the t-shirt. Well, I didn't expect you to achieve A rank already, Damien said. What's your current rank? He asked. A+, Asher replied as he took out a jacket from the wardrobe. Really? Damien was surprised. I think you will have the highest rank among all the first years, Damien said. But what rank was that girl who won? Damien wondered. A rank, probably, Asher replied. Well, I need to watch the recording of this tournament to find weaknesses of others, Damien said as he opened his phone. You going somewhere? Damien asked as Asher put on the jacket. Yeah, I need to go to my company office, Asher told him. Oh, wait, if you are going, can I ride one of the supercars in your garage? Damien asked. Ask one of the drivers to take you, Asher looked at Damien. Damien got up, ready to leave the room. Make sure you take the driver. I have broken enough bones for today, Asher repeated as Damien shuddered. Ahaha, of course, Damien said as he scratched his head. Asher and Damien went out to the garage, which was on the opposite side of the living room, and Damien chose one of the most expensive supercars to ride in. Vogue 799, phew, Damien spoke as he looked at the shining white-colored supercar. Excuse me, can you take me for a drive in this car? Damien asked one of the servants present for maintenance. Asher nodded, confirming Damien's request, so one of the servants took out the keys, and the doors of the car opened up. You can enjoy this. I am leaving, Asher told Damien. Bye, Damien said as he sat in the supercar, enjoying its interior with his eyes wide open. Asher sat in his car and told the driver to go to the headquarters of the Abyss Corporation. He had gotten 5 floors in the building of the Abyss Corporation under the name of his company by Sylvie. He arrived at the location of the Abyss Corporation and stepped out of the car, seeing a 70-floor-long building. He entered the building, and the receptionist immediately recognized him. Welcome, young master. She stood up from her seat and greeted Asher, who just nodded indifferently. Many people also greeted Asher respectfully, as they still remembered when more than half a year ago he used to visit this building with Sylvie almost every week. Asher entered the lift and looked at the screen in front of him. Iris scan completed. Welcome, Asher Greville, the robotic voice said as the panel to choose the floor appeared in front of him. The lift he was using was a VIP-only lift that only a select few could use when they entered this building. Some of the floors were not even accessible from the normal lifts, and only people who were registered in the Abyss database could enter them. Asher looked at the multiple numbers that were present on the screen in front of him. He pressed the button that said Floor 57. He was given Floor 56 to 60 to run his company for now. The lift shortly arrived at the 57th floor, and he stepped out and saw many rooms labeled for different teams. Asher walked towards a certain room and saw a man who was typing something as multiple screens with the profiles of certain people could be seen on the screens. This room was filled with multiple high-tech devices. Oh, he got shocked as he saw Asher entering his room. He spilled the hot coffee on his sleeve, but the cloth prevented his skin from burning. Hello, boss. He stood up and bowed immediately. Stop this foolish behavior and tell me about the information you have gathered until now, Asher spoke to him with his indifferent face. Yeah. He typed and opened a screen that showed photos of multiple people on this. I have found out that the Alistair family is constantly in touch with the chairman of the World Association, but they share every single piece of information in a physical manner, making it impossible for me to know their dealings, Tom replied. After signing his contract, he had worked for Asher for almost a month, and he had gotten pretty comfortable with his life for now. Did you find the people I told you about? Asher asked Tom while he was still looking at the photos of multiple masked men exchanging briefcases. I have, but I think your plan is a bit too much. I can find some dirt on them, and we can get them in jail, Tom said, gulping as he saw Asher's face turn towards him. I'm sorry. Tom immediately apologized. Getting multiple explosives near this area is easy. I can hack the database and tamper with real-time security, Tom said as footage of VILLAN could be seen. Carry out this plan after the end of my first semester and make sure nobody can trace it back to us, Asher spoke. Keep looking out for the people I have mentioned, but don't get too greedy and underestimate those old foxes that are staying still for now, Asher spoke. And keep targeting the reputation of the Alistair family on a small scale in Halcyon, he told him. Okay. Tom turned and looked at the mess he had created by spilling the coffee and started cleaning it. Asher left Tom in his room and went up to the 60th floor where his main office was. He sat down and opened the computer in front of him and started looking into multiple social profiles of some of the students who were already attending the World Academy. Poor kids, his eyes went dull, and a smile emerged on his face. He was already looking forward to his days at the World Academy.